We got a surprise for y'all today. Before we start off today's show, it's Mr. Clinton James' birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. Hey, I'm not going to tell you all my age now.
Well, in melanin years, you 23.
There you go. There you go. I'll take it. I'll take it all day long.
We got two 23-year-olds sitting here with us today.
Oh, man.
Hey, so happy birthday, Mr. Clinton James.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Another year around the sun.
Yes, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. You
God-
just got to be thankful for the small things these days, man.
God is good, and we're just going to leave your age at 23. And
Appreciate it.
and because today's a special day, we have to have a special guest with us today.
Yes.
And I'm not even going to go into the whole intro because y'all seen her before. She's been here like fourth or fifth time,
Somewhere around there.
somewhere around that.
I think she's one of the most the most guest person that we have had as a guest here.
Yes.
Most times, yeah.
And just a quick intro. Marshawn is a life and relationship strategist, and she combines all her data and research to share simple tips and strategies with her clients so they can stop becoming the obstacle. Stop becoming the obstacle in their life and create an extraordinary relationship. So, in turn, she's going to help y'all untangle whatever y'all got tangled into, straighten that out to help create a better relationship because the majority of our life is about relationships. It's really about relationships. And, if we don't get those right, then
That's right.
We're up a creek.
Yep. So we need you. We need you in all our lives right now.
Help!
The pressure.
Help me, please. Help me.
And then also, this is part 2 of finding yourself and your soulmate. So we're gonna dive into it. How you been?
I've been excellent. Thank you so much for having me, fellas.
Yes. It's
yes.
our pleasure. It's our
I've been
pleasure.
excellent.
Well, looking good, looking fresh, glowing,
Okay, keep going. Don't stop there. Thank you.
making things work. And one thing I want to start off with is, okay, we didn't get a chance to talk on this long, but when you were here last time. But one of the last questions we asked you, Clinton and I asked you was, what's a good age for a woman to get married? What's a good age for a man to get married? And when we got the answers, I promise I mentioned it to at least one person a week.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I mentioned at least. There's been times he and I are in conversations with other people, and we mention it. Like we talk about what you talk about more than probably
I talk about it.
probably more than you talk about it.
And most of the topics we talk on the show, right? So most of the guests we have on the show. So, because, what you touch on touches everybody. People who are even single, people who are even in relationships, people who are thinking about getting into relationships. And as William was saying, is that we get a different perspective, because you're the professional here. Right, we're still learning. We're still babies in this.
hey, but we all still learn.
Yes,
I don't know
yes.
everything, but I know a little bit about a lot of things.
We're still
Right.
wet behind the ears, still
Right.
drinking Similac. So you mentioned that a good age for the average woman to get married is 35,
Yes.
and a good age for the average man to get married is 40 plus.
Yes.
We elaborated that a little bit then, but I want to start off touching on that some more because I think we were kind of thrown aback by the age. So tell us again why the average age for a woman to get married is 35 and 40 plus for a male.
Well, for both sexes, I have to say that a lot of it has to do with our emotional maturity or immaturity. And then we don't know who we really are earlier in life. So we're trying to figure out who we are 'cause when we're with our parents or guardians. They pretty much tell us everything that we need to do, know, et cetera, whether we like it or not, right? And so in our 20s, we're trying to figure out who we are. We usually get it wrong. We might be trying to figure out, we might be trying to be some person that we're not because we don't really know where we fit in at. So we're still trying to figure it out in our 20s. Maybe later in their 20s, we're kind of getting it together. We can discern, like, I don't want to be around this person. This is what I like in dating or in relationships. This is what I do not like. And so the earlier that we do get married, it actually increases our chances of getting a divorce.
What?
Yeah. So the earlier that we get married, it increases our chances of getting divorced because we don't know who we are, right? And then when we get with our spouse, that person usually doesn't know who they are at such a young age. So we're still trying to figure it all out in our 20s. So by the time we're 30, we have a better handle on things, even though we're still, as you just said, wet behind the ears and still trying to figure it all out. We still have a better handle on who we are in our, just in life here. We have a better handle. And so, women have a tendency, not all women, but women have a tendency to mature faster than men. And so we really know what we want by the time it's 35, by the time the age is 35. So it's a good age to settle down, if you will, to say I do. For men, the emotional maturity follows a little bit behind. For most,
No,
obviously.
we right
not
on
all.
time. We right on time.
And we'll dive deeper into that emotional maturity because that's something I think we got to talk about is what do we define emotional maturity? You know, because when we look at emotional maturity, men tend to be how to put it is I would say yes, we lack in showing emotions, right? Because we're very internal beings, but at the same time too, our genetics, which how men are made, which is we are supposed to be nurturers, we're supposed to be hunters, gatherers. We have to be in order for us to we have by instinct in order for us to survive and compete, we have to be like that, which is emotionally kind of
Detached a little bit.
Yeah, because this is what I always say. It's like, and I'll give you an example. Like most women want a man who is very sensitive and in tune with his emotions until
It's time to be.
it's time for him to defend the family. Until it's because we want men who can go fight wars, right?
Right.
We want men to protect us who can be cops or police officers, and that takes a little bit of emotional detachment. So my question basically is, what are you defining as emotional maturity for men?
Emotional maturity for men
Right.
is, you know what? I'll simply just say showing the vulnerability, being able to let your guard down, specifically for your woman, your wife, your girlfriend, right? I'm not necessarily talking about to the entire world, right? But I definitely am talking about to your significant other, your spouse, your person that you chose to walk this journey in the relationship with. But me, I'm still hearing that even when women are married or in relationships, they're still having a hard time hearing or even seeing the vulnerability because the man that they're with is scared to show up in that way, right? Because he doesn't want to look weak, if you
Right.
will, right?
Right.
So it's understanding that vulnerability is not a weakness; it's actually a strength. And most men don't see it as a strength
Right.
when they're doing it; they see it as a weakness. But you have to be able to tap into those emotions
Right.
in order for us to connect on a deeper level. Because just like you connect with a woman when she's showing her emotional side,
Right.
again, granted, most women we show it more often than men,
Right.
but we still need to see it from you. We still need to feel like I am your person,
Right.
and in that way, it's because I get to see all of you fully.
And when I would say, okay, so let's do this. Let's switch. So because there's masculinity and then there's emotional vulnerability, I think, right? So would men are not attracted to masculine in women, right? So it's kind of like where a woman is dominant. It's kind of like
That depends. Oh, okay. Let me let you finish because it does depend.
See, William started leaning back. Starting
Put
to
my
get hot
mic
in
back
here.
here.
Well, okay. So it does depend. Okay, so I have a client right now,
Right.
and she's more masculine, and the guy is more feminine. So what I want to put out there to everybody that's listening is. Feminine and masculine are not necessarily feminine for women and masculine for men. Each of us have all of those traits within us. We just, as women, have a tendency to show the more feminine traits, and the men have a tendency to show more of the masculine traits. However, my particular client that I'm speaking about, she is showing more of her masculinity because she has had to be all of these roles.
Right. She's had to adapt.
Yeah, she had to adapt.
Yeah.
And now, because she's been doing it for 2-3 decades, it's really hard for her to detach and be more feminine, if you will, because she's so used to showing up and doing what we deem as male, taking care of the house and protecting
Right.
and all that stuff that we would
Right.
normally
Yeah.
deem as male things to do. She just had to do it.
Right. Now, let me ask you: is that something that's sustainable? Because yes, it is. Strong women are the thing now, and I get it. Some women have had to adapt because of being the father and the mother. But is that having a masculine woman as it might be attractive in the beginning, but long term, is that sustainable? How do you think about that? Like,
So I think that it's sustainable for the people that are in that relationship, right?
Okay.
Because if he stays in his feminine, he's gonna want the opposite, really, for him. But if he if he comes back on the masculine side more, he's not going to be as attracted to her as you mentioned, right? Because he's looking for the opposite at that time, and so that's where we all have to be able to adapt, right? So what she didn't understand what was happening, and so when I said this to her, she was exhibiting more masculine traits, and he was exhibiting more feminine traits. Literally, like the light bulb went off. But also to go back and answer your question. These particular type of women that I just spoke about,
right.
they really don't want to have the masculine trait, if you will. They don't want to feel like they have to take care of everything.
Right.
They
Right.
really want to be free and let it all go.
Yeah.
But because they haven't found somebody to stand in that space as the head, as the man, etc.
Right.
Now they're fighting against it, and they don't really know how to
Let it go.
lay it down
Yeah.
when a guy does try to come around and exhibit the masculine traits. And so there's a competition that ends up happening, a silent war. Maybe sometimes it's a verbal war, but it's a silent war going on between both of them because
I would think that if a guy's masculine and a woman he may be attracted to, she starts showing masculine tendencies, more masculine than feminine, he would just walk away.
again, it depends on where he's at because this particular gentleman that I'm speaking about, he's really in tune with being vulnerable because with society not allowing our men to do that. And it's really the way that we groom our children and specifically our boys, right? Whereas don't cry, man up, stop acting like a little girl and some other explicits that I won't say, right? That the way we groom our little boys when we don't groom our little girls in that way as well. We let our girls show their emotions and cry. And even when fathers see the little girls crying, they go and give them hugs and nurture them. But a lot of times when they see their son crying, man up. Men don't do that, and it's completely different. And so we're actually born with the same type of traits, right? But men's are suppressed, specifically the emotions. The emotional side has been suppressed for most men and the way that they were nurtured and groomed from childhood, right? And so when we get into these relationships and in our marriages, we as the woman, because we have been allowed to freely express ourselves in that way our entire lives, ours has been honed and nurtured for our entire lives. And it's kind of like you guys are babies in that way. And again,
Right.
not every man, but the men that are struggling with that,
Right.
they're kind of babies and being able to show themselves as vulnerable.
And I think what comes into is you mentioned that women have more emotional intelligence at an early stage. So when they're able to adapt that masculine trait, they're able to balance it, right? Now, and when I want to use some examples, it's like you'll find that the majority of men are the ones who commit most of the violent crimes, right?
true.
So when you really think about it, men have this ability to actually to actually be a little bit more aggressive,
Oh, absolutely.
right? And the thing about it is not we wouldn't say there's crimes, but it's good and it's bad in certain situations, right? Because a woman that might not be able to say she is dominant, she's masculine in the relationship, when it comes to defending herself, or that's when I think the man should have that masculine trait, or defending the family, and that's where I'm like, how would you advise somebody or say a client, how in the long term, how would that work out for a man being more feminine in the relationship and having to actually be, okay, well, I'll be the feminine role, I'll play the feminine role in the relationship without actually being that,
Well, what I will say is currently the way that she's viewing him
Right.
is not necessarily, well, she's not unattracted to him, but she's
Right.
not highly attracted to him because of she's noticing the feminine side of him. But it's
Right.
not so much that it's just too much for her. Let me put it that way. It's
Okay.
too much for her.
Okay.
Because she's not used to it. And again, she's having to be strong and hard herself for
Right.
all of these decades. And now here comes this quote unquote soft man. It's like, what am I doing with this man?
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like the question is going to pop up. Okay, well, how do we work this out? Because there's going to be certain roles that he's going to have to fall right into in the relationship.
expectations.
Yeah, the expectations.
And there's stuff like that talked about, like, hey, the woman says I'm more masculine than he is. I'm more feminine, so I'll take on more of the feminine role of the family.
I
I'll
don't
take one of the
think,
masculine
I
role
don't
of the
think
family.
a conversation like that would come up. I think that it's where the awareness happens for at least one person in the relationship needs to be aware of what's actually happening. And you don't necessarily have to verbalize it, but at least if you're aware of it, then you can figure out and have a conversation. Again, not even bringing up masculine and feminine. It's just what are your strengths? Right? You can just say strengths and weaknesses, if you will. And you figure out what your strengths are, right? And then you handle those roles because that's your area. And if I'm good in your weaknesses, right? If my strengths are actually your weaknesses, then I take your weaknesses away because they're my strengths.
So question for you.
Okay.
Alpha women.
Uh-huh.
We talked about that before in the past. Not this previous one, but other shows. Alpha women. What are they particularly looking for? Are they looking at the same thing as feminine women are looking at? I'm not saying alpha women can't be feminine. I'm just saying the ones who tend to, like that, the customer, your client that you're helping, had to exhibit masculine traits for decades. Is she particularly looking for the same thing as the one that hasn't had to take on that male role for so many decades?
I have to say yes, because women, the thing that we're really looking for is to be right, provided, protected. So every woman is looking for that, right?
Okay.
The stability and all of the stuff that women look for, if you will, right? So it doesn't matter which stage she's in; she's absolutely looking for that. And as I mentioned earlier, the strong woman, if you will, that's exhibiting the masculine traits, she really doesn't want to have to exhibit them. It's just it's really not a choice that she has, if you will. It's for her survival, maybe for the kids, the family, whatever, right? And so the father, the dad, whatever is not there for whatever reason, and so she has to pick up the slack.
So you get a couple connects, right? They like each other, and she tends to be more masculine, but the guy's also, I'm in my masculine too. What does she need to do? What does he need to do so she could not be so much in her masculine and know that it's okay?
Making her feel really safe, right? So safety is not only the physical, right? Somebody come and attack me, then I
Yeah.
want you to protect me in that way, but it's also protecting my emotions, right? Not making me feel bad because I'm crying in this moment, right? You allow me the space to actually show my emotions to you without you making me feel bad or you acting like a woman. Okay. Right? Just allowing me the space to release because it really should be where both of you could come to one another and be able to release and show that weakness, if you will, or that softer side of you without feeling like you're going to be judged
Right.
or made to feel ashamed and even feel guilty because you shared this part of me, part of yourself with your spouse.
Right. Okay, so what can she do to reinforce that you the man, you the leader? What can she do?
She can use this simple sentence, and you all here can say if this is a yes or no for you, right? Which would be, I trust your decisions.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's a big yes.
Hey,
Capital Y-E-S.
Capital Y.
hey, so let's repeat that one more time. let's get it right.
Okay, so ladies,
Listen up, ladies. You need to hear this.
he really wants to hear literally a simple sentence, I trust your decisions. But also, ladies,
Oh, there's a
understanding that, no, the but is not really bad.
Okay.
Because also understanding that even if he fails in his decision, that you don't throw that in his face because he has to feel safe with you to bring this to the table. And then you also have to trust his decisions because all of your decisions are not going to be the right decisions. So that means that all of his decisions are not going to be the right decisions,
Right.
but you still have to allow him to make those decisions. Whether, obviously, I'm not saying to make the decision so you guys are out on the street,
Right.
but, right. But if it's something you say, hey, I trust your decisions and literally let it go because you got to let that control go because you cannot control anybody but yourself.
True. Very true.
I think they
Very
said
true.
that in the Bible somewhere. Right?
Look at you making up Bible verses.
I'm
now.
making a Bible verse. I know it says something similar
The
to
Book
that.
of William says.
Why? Didn't say that?
We're going to read that whole verse.
I don't have my
Right. You're trying
But,
to
you
take
know.
things out of context now.
Yeah, don't use it just for you.
Well,
Right.
as long as the man's doing what he's supposed to do. I wouldn't even bring up the context unless he was doing what he's supposed to do.
Okay.
Because if he's not, then I understand if the woman doesn't want to submit. I understand why there could be friction in the relationship because it's like, dude, I want you to be this great man so I could be chilling, not so much chilling, but so much let you lead more, but I don't know.
Well, you know what? Because I hear this about the submission, and it's not okay. Now, for the men that are listening, it's not so much that your woman does not want to quote unquote submit to you. What I'm hearing from clients is specifically women, because that's my audience. It's not so much that they don't want to submit to the men. Their men, that their husbands, even their boyfriends, but I really mean their husbands. They don't want men to take advantage of them when they get this power. But then on top of that, a lot of men don't have a plan, right? You don't have a plan. And so you want me to submit to you to follow your lead, but where are you leading me to? Where are you leading me to? Are you on
Right.
the path that God has actually called you to and you're walking that path or at least trying to get there? And if not, right, so I'm supposed to follow you, as the old saying goes, because you going off a cliff, I'm supposed to go with you? Like, that's not my plan. I'm not trying to go off the cliff. So it has to be a clear plan in place that you are working toward. And some people say the purpose, right? If you found your purpose, your God-given purpose, and you're walking in that, then most women won't have a problem submitting to your plan, because if you succeed, we succeed as the family, right?
Right.
So I don't have a problem, but most men don't have a plan, but they throw up the submission. So what am
Okay.
I submitting to?
Oh, okay. Now,
So
that very much so could be the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can get married, and you mentioned people getting married young.
Yes.
And sometimes you get married young, you just do not have,
Have a plan, right.
At
You
all.
just, I love this person, they love me. It's just all going to work out.
because let's be practical too. Like when we look at kids, I would say like what 75-80% of kids happen without a plan. Right.
Happen. Yes.
Yeah,
Happen
so-
without a plan.
Right. So
Well, someone planned it, but
someone
the
planned
outcome
it,
didn't.
but it wasn't like planned. Like it was
Mm-hmm,
saying, okay, well, we're gonna have the kids, and a lot of times that changes the dynamic in any relationship.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right. So I mean, we see that happen consistently, even if it's they're married, not married.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I want to say is what is the expectations like? So when we say about a plan, because at the end of the day, when people are dating, they're not taking that. Because we're just talking about people who are married, right? Having a plan, right? But at the same time, too, people who are looking to actually say, now create a family. Now they're kind of in a situation where they have to create a family. This is reality. I know this is a God show, but this is reality here. People
Okay.
have to create a family. Does that man now have to stay in that relationship if he doesn't have a plan, or what should he do? Is it something where he should stay in a relationship and create a plan? I mean, because we're saying that men don't have a plan.
You're not a man because you don't take care of your responsibility.
Right, because
That's from
right,
Lean
that
on
we-
Me.
right, because we see it consistently all the time in society. You know, it's like a lot of men are now put in this category of being deadbeat dads, but then, you know, it's something where number one, that they weren't ready, right? Number two is that a lot of them are pushed to are forced to be separated from their kids, right? Because there's
Okay.
a lot of because I know there was a show on Red Table Talk. They talked about parental alienation, and that's huge. Now, going back to relationships and how that relates is that what will you say to somebody who is two people who are now okay? Well, should we go forward and create this future together, even though I am not ready? But at the same time, and I don't have a plan. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So,
good question.
so what would you say to somebody, a couple like that?
I would obviously, well, not obviously, but I would definitely tell them to pray about it for sure, and to seek some guidance, right, from God. But I personally do not believe that you should stay for the children, because if you're not in it here for the person that you're choosing, eventually what y'all trying not to happen, which is a breakup or divorce, is going to happen.
Right.
Because you're not going to be giving your all to your person to your spouse, to the person that you said I do to, but you're really saying I do to because I want to take care of my responsibilities. I don't want to be that deadbeat dad, but at the end of the day, you're not really there for her, right? So everything that you're giving, everything that she needs, you're giving to the child.
Right.
So all the emotional attachment that she wants from you, you're now giving it to the child, and she's still being left out. So you're creating another dynamic. What I would rather you do is just be co-parent, continue to date, and see if you go that route, because you already messed up, right?
Right,
You already
right,
messed up, and now
yeah.
you created this family outside of God's plan, which
Right.
most of us have done that, right?
Right.
However, I don't recommend just staying together because now you have created this child. I that's my own personal opinion. I really feel that you guys should find out a way to co-parent. And if you really were dating, still do that. Still date and really try to figure out if this is your person.
Now, with okay, so I have a couple questions. So, first question is it's kind of going back a little bit about the purpose. So, people get married, and let's say the kid thing comes up or whatever, but then you get married, and when you initially get married, the man doesn't have a purpose. He's just working at a job and decent income. the wife is kind of like, why should I follow you? You ain't got no plan. You know, we just living. Then all of a sudden, 5, 10, 20 years into their marriage, he think he's found his purpose.
Okay.
And he's like, babe, you know, this is my purpose. I want to lead you to it. But she's like, I've been with this dude for this long. And he ain't had a purpose. And he just, you know, maybe, you know, he had something nice to drink and he's just really inspired tonight. I don't know.
Okay.
What would you say to that, that lady, that wife?
What, should she stay? Should she go? Should she
Not
follow?
should
What's
she
the
leave,
what's the real
but
issue?
more so like following that purpose that he said that I think I found what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
When you initially didn't start off that way in the relationship, but it's years down the line, he's found it.
Mm-hmm.
What would you recommend that couple does to make sure that they're working on this, they're going towards the same goal?
Well, I, if I'm understanding the question correctly, I think that she should at least give him a chance to follow that path. It really comes down to them having a conversation about how now is he going to follow that particular path and what's best for the family, because in your particular example, they've been together for decades and married, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just saying they've been together for some time, and yeah.
Right. So, but life is still happening. They probably have children in there, and just life, right? And the responsibilities that come along with that. So you can't just quit everything, right? And then say, I'm going to follow this path, and meanwhile, we out on the street. So it really has to be, again, a plan to reach your destination or your goal. So whatever that first thing is, does that mean you're taking college courses? Does that mean you're going to get a certification? How long is this going to take you? Right. So really kind of mapping out the steps, but giving him the opportunity to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Giving him the
There.
opportunity. Yeah.
Right.
Because I was thinking if that party is resistant, you know, what's that conversation like? Like the male could be like, yo, she's been resisting this. I've been at it for like a year, 2 years, explained everything, but it's still like.
But okay, so he's been at it for a year or
Let's
2
say
years, right?
he explained it, and he's like, I understand initially there may be some, you know, blowback or whatever that you want to follow, but you know, hey, I've been studying at this for like a year, 2 years, but you're still kind of, you know, not following the lead. What does he need to do?
Stay the course, because if you don't stay the course, then it's all for nothing. Literally, if you don't stay the course, it's all for nothing. Because if you're saying that now, okay, I'm gonna go to me. If I'm saying that I found my calling, my God-given purpose to
And it can be
coach
vice
clients
versa,
and everything,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Of course, right. And then I go to my spouse and I'm saying, hey, I didn't have a plan. Okay, I'm the man in the situation. But rock with me. So I didn't have a plan for 5-7 years, right? And now I feel like I found my God-given purpose, and now I'm going to walk in it. I've actually come up with some steps. It might not be, might not fall through 100%, but this is what's happening, and I want your support, right? And then, like you said, the man in this instance, the woman in this instance is giving him blowback to say, nah. So the first thing I want him to think about is you got to remember your past, because your past is still more than what you've put out there.
Okay.
Right? So only thing that she's really understanding is these past 5 to 7 years that you didn't have no plan. Y'all been struggling, X, Y, and Z. And right now, year 1 and 2, there's still not a lot of money coming in from you following this purpose because it's brand new. So, and maybe you give up a lot too. So you have to give her some grace and mercy, because this was your past, and now she's trying to figure out if she should follow your path, because your past that she's used to is either you throw in the towel or you haven't had it this long, you've been struggling, so she's kind of stuck there. But again, if now I don't stay the course,
It's all for nothing.
it's all for nothing.
So, and I have a quick question on that too, because I get it. Like, so if he's following his purpose, he's pushing and he's working consistently, following through, and things are not coming in the timeline that is expected, right? Because we all know, women working a timeline, men
true.
don't,
It's
right?
true.
So, but he's consistently doing it. So, would you say that? Where would because it sounds like she is just maybe a spectator, or I'm not saying a spectator in that term, but maybe she's just okay, well, yeah, I'm waiting for you to actually kind of blow up, right?
Okay.
Would you say, okay, maybe she should start carrying some of the burden on that, like of supplementing maybe the income, or like while he follows his path, because I mean, that's something that yes, you mentioned, if one person succeeds, everybody succeeds,
right.
But at the same time, the income is going to be very important.
Yes, of course.
So would you suggest that most of the time that a woman has a plan too, like in that situation, like, okay, well, while you're doing this, my plan is I'll get a job and maybe bring in some income.
Okay, so the long answer is y'all a team.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
team players have to play their part.
Right.
And sometimes it's going to be a part that you don't want to play.
Yeah, somebody's got to be pimping.
Right.
So the simple answer is yes.
Right.
Because if you are saying that you're going to support him on his journey, or he's supporting you, whatever, and income is not where it needs to be, because now you guys are now following a new path, right?
Right.
Somebody has to pick up the slack.
Right.
So if you're not willing to pick up the slack, then you really can't keep complaining about you guys are not reaching this destiny faster or at all.
Right.
You guys got to play like a team.
Right.
Yeah, and that's having a conversation, even having a plan on that, right? So it's really us not being selfish.
Right.
And being so self-centered and all about ourselves.
Right.
And really, you're in a relationship, and specifically the marriage, you are sacrificing yourself for the family, right? Because
Right.
it's not just you. And your family is your spouse, right? So if he's willing to say, I finally found what I need to do, I got my purpose now, I'm not bringing in any income today, but I know if I stay this course and you stay by my side, we're going to be good, then
Right.
it's probably not going to happen in the time frame that he brought up. Like, let's be real, it's probably not. It's
Yeah,
actually
most likely,
harder.
Yeah.
It's harder
Yeah.
than most people believe to go on this entrepreneurial journey and
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
really figure out that thing, right? We think it's
Absolutely.
going to happen faster than it actually
Yeah.
does.
Right.
So understanding that's probably going to take longer, and you're there. Now, I do have a real live example on that. It's actually one of my brothers. Without airing all his dirty laundry, I'll just say that he finally got his plan and he started working it. And meantime, his wife was like, hey, yo. and it did put a lot of strain on their marriage.
Right.
Now, they're still married, and he actually did succeed, and he's a successful man. But during those times,
Right.
it was really shaky. It was
Right.
really shaky during
I
those
knew
times.
the whole
And
time
so-
you was going to do that.
and on top of that, she's actually pretty pessimistic. So
Right.
not only is he trying to fight out here, and then he got to go home to all this stuff,
Exactly,
right?
right.
But he literally just said he had to put it in the background because he knew in his heart of hearts that he was going to be successful. And that's another thing too, right?
Right.
His belief system was already there. It was just a
Right.
matter of God releasing and showing it to him, right?
Right.
So
And that's where the vulnerability part kind of steps in. That's where what I was saying is like, with men, we can't show that emotion all the time because we have to. Who is it? Chris Rock. He was saying that we hear it all the time, right? He said that women, children, and animals
Are loved unconditionally.
Unconditionally.
Men are loved
Love conditionally
unconditionally.
with
They can provide
they
something.
can perform.
Yeah, I've
So
heard
our
that.
lives are based always on performance, right? So we have to live that life consistently, and that's where the balance first has to come in with, okay, do we show vulnerability or we just keep on going? Like, put your head down and just grind through it, hoping that things come out on the other side where, yeah, you're successful, you make her happy and things go back to normal. But during that time, there might be some damage that might be done.
there's absolutely going to be some damage that's going to be done. I don't think we can get away from hurting our spouse,
Right.
whether intentionally or unintentionally.
Right.
There is going to be some hurt. There's going to be some pain in our marriages or in our relationships, for
Right.
sure, like growing pains. And it really is understanding that the pain is coming. It's just a matter of how much pain you're willing to deal with, right? And then if you can minimize the pain by having these open conversations, because that's one of the things that we don't do.
Right.
We complain more than we communicate.
Right.
We don't
Right.
really understand how to just get or articulate what we really want out to our spouse. So we're usually at each other's throat, not realizing if you just calm down and think about what you want to say
Right.
and then actually say it, it still might not be received well the first time, but you really got to keep staying the course, because this might be something new for your relationship or your marriage that was never brought to the table. And now you're trying to be this new person, right? That person is used to bickering and fighting with you, and you're like, okay, no, let's talk about this. And that might not go over well the first couple times because they're used to the old you.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But it really is just being open and open to having open conversations about any and everything as much as possible, so you can keep the lines of communication open. So I understand you, you understand me.
Right.
I have a belief that, when a man is in his purpose, though, not that everything is perfect, but the right order falls in line. And eventually, at some point in time, if it really is his purpose, then, she will realize that, or he will realize that, and the family will be on board with it. I just think that anything that's worth having is worth fighting for and going through. It's just that sometimes when you're married and you're trying to find your purpose, it's hard trying to do that and then maintain your family.
It's true, which
Right.
brings us back to the point why we should be waiting, because if we're waiting, again, we know ourselves, but then most of the time we know what we want to do. We might not be there, but if I don't have to worry about the struggle of now juggling wife, family, kids, job, blah, 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 now trying to get into my purpose, if I just slow it down, right? No, understand who I am, mature, date, yes, and understand and figure out what you like, what you don't like, etc. But not saying I do. But like Clinton mentioned, a lot of times that don't happen because we end up bringing these babies into it, right?
Right, right.
Because let's be real, we're not doing it God's way. So
Sure,
because
sure.
we're not doing it God's way, now we get punished,
Forgive me, Lord.
and we got to figure it out, right?
So I like now just on that topic, marriage, because that's something that we got some time to get into. So marriage, how would you define marriage? What is that marriage in terms of what is marriage? Is it something that it's an institution? It's based on love? It's based on family? Because there's so much definitions of marriage out there, right? So when you're counseling people about marriage, what do you define it as? What is marriage?
Well, I think that it's gone through a lot of different stages,
Right.
but the stage that we're in currently is it is going back to the purpose, though. It's more purpose driven, right? And me feeling like I could connect with you, because at one point it was kind of survival, if you will, right?
Right, exactly.
But now we're a little bit past the survival stage, and it's more about you understanding me emotionally, I understand you emotionally, as well as purpose driven. So if you can support me going down my purpose and I can support you, those people that can understand the way marriage is going nowadays, they have a better marriage, a happier marriage, because I'm supporting you, you support me. And support comes in all different forms and shapes. It's not just financial, right? So, but it's mainly purpose driven and emotional
And that leads me
attachment.
to my next question, because this is a little bit controversial one here. So I heard a saying, right? And it made so much sense, but I want you to elaborate it. Someone said, do not get married because you fall in love with the person, right? Get married because you're in love with marriage.
Wait, say that again.
He said,
Run that
it was
back.
said, do not get married because you fell in love with someone, right? But get married because you are in love with what marriage is.
I see what you're saying.
Nah. Because if okay, so I get the concept
Right.
of what that's
Right.
saying, but
Yeah.
I think that it falls short when if I'm just getting married to Joe Blow, whatever, right? Let's just run with
Because
it.
we fall in love so many times.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm not just gonna stay with Joe Blow. Because I love marriage. Like I love the idea of marriage,
Right.
but I also love
Because
being married, right?
Because you studied it, right? You have, because that's your passion.
Right. Of course, right.
So-
I mean, okay, you got a point. You got a point. Okay,
Right.
but also, I'm not encouraging anybody just to be married because you love being married, right? I
Right.
wanted you enjoy to be married to the person that you enjoy being married to. So I think it's the two together, not separate.
It's just like owning a business. You should own a business because you love the idea of being a business owner, but you should match that with something that you're good at, or
Right.
passionate
Yeah.
about. Like not just any business.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you're an investor and it's not your baby, right? You're helping somebody else. But
Right.
I get what you're saying. It's your baby. You're building this from the ground up.
Right.
But don't just do it just because it's a business, right? You're not into laundry or whatever.
Yeah, well, it has to make sense
To you,
to
yeah.
to you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Whether it's something you're passionate about or good at, or you just know how to run well. Yeah.
Right.
But the whole marriage thing, I see what you're saying with the whole purpose, because that's a good way to look at it. Trying to encourage people to find their purpose first, and then when you do that, the right partner will come along, because more than likely, if you're in the right purpose, more than likely you'll be in the same circles, around the same circles as that person that you have similar interests in. And then you could find yourself, oh, okay, you like doing this, you like being an entrepreneur, I like being an entrepreneur, or whatever. It's like, okay, we vibe well, we work well together, and then boom, there's opportunities.
But yes, of course. But even think about your mindset, and both of you can do this, right?
Right.
Thinking about your mindset in your 20s versus nowadays. I'm
Oh, yeah.
sure that it's different. Hopefully it's different.
Yeah, way different.
Okay, right. So
yeah, way different. Yeah.
just think about the women or woman, whatever, that you were attracted to in your 20s. You're probably not attracted to that same type now in your 30 plus.
True.
There may be some things physically, right? Maybe the
Right.
physical, but as
Right.
far as the mental and be able to hold a conversation about specific things, the
Right.
things that you like, traveling, whatever, right? Those things may not match up anymore.
Yeah,
and
you would
so
vet. I think I would vet more.
when you're older, is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Yeah.
The same type of girls I like then, I like now.
Okay. He's in the
look-
minority.
Just looks wise. Just looks wise.
Well, that's why I said physical. Yeah.
Okay, but personality,
the
yeah.
percentage, the percentage does change. Where you were attracted to the physical before, where that was the 80%. Now it's just where now you only 20% of it is the physical, 80% is kind of like the more the emotional, mental connection, right?
But also, yeah. But
Right.
it's really what I'm hearing from most men now, because I'm 45, I'll say it. But so most men now that I'm
23.
speaking with, they are really all about how she makes him feel.
Yes.
right.
How she makes him feel, right?
Yes,
so
right.
in your 20s, you're not really thinking about how she making you feel. You trying to see how you making her feel.
I think it works both ways though. In 20s.
Okay, sure. I'll go with that for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway,
see that.
it's
Yeah.
different. It's different.
Yeah.
We just mature more, which we should, right? Because we becoming more emotionally aware of who we are, the things that we like, don't like, things we're gonna put up with, not put up
Right.
with, etc. And then even in your 20s, we're still trying to please other people versus pleasing ourselves first.
Right.
And a lot of people, we go outwardly versus inwardly.
Yeah.
To figure out, to try to get the love or to get the respect, because we're looking for 'em outside in our 20s.
Right.
I've heard someone say, life is about being, doing, and then having. And if you do it out of order, your life will be out of order. Like, you should be who you need to be to get what you need to have for your life. When you focus on the getting and not the being first, then your life is
Chaos.
chaos. Even if that's the right person, you're not the person you need to be for that
Yeah.
person.
So you would say the definition of marriage has evolved with what the demands of what people want in a relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about? I don't know if I asked you this.
Uh-oh.
Let me know. What do you think about marrying outside of your culture or your race, outside of your ethnicity, interracial marriage and dating. I haven't asked you what you thought about that.
Now
Have
it puts
I?
me on
Have
the
I asked
spot,
you?
everybody. No, you know, are you talking about personally, right? My personal feelings about it? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
sure.
Okay, my personal feelings is I really don't care, because who I like is for me, right? The person that God has for me is for me, so I don't
Right.
really care. When it comes down to it, I really don't care. As long as you're happy with the person and you're not doing it
Right.
because I hate my own race, right? I hate my own race.
We've seen that.
Right, but then, so I'm
Unfortunately.
dating outside of my race because I hate my own race. Well,
Right.
that you got some issues, and hopefully the person that you're dating interracially, it's bad, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Hopefully she leave your butt because, like, you have a hate for your own
Yeah,
people, and if
yeah.
y'all have children,
And
so
that's
now you don't
self-hate.
hate your own children. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
self hate, right?
self-hate,
So, that I don't, personally, I don't care because who's for me is who's for me. Quick story, really quickly. We're here in San Diego, and we know that the black population is really, really small, right?
Yeah.
So when I was in the dating stages, I only dated black men because I'm attracted to black men. That's my man. Woo, woo. Okay, right. But
We love that too. We make some noise for
Watch
that.
out. Watch out.
but what I would hear from my fellow friends and just women that would see me dating, like, how do you keep dating all these black men? And I'm like, what does that, like, what does that even mean? And so it basically came down to they weren't getting approached by black men. And I said, well, it's my belief system. I believe that I believe that a black man is going to be attracted to me, regardless of what I'm hearing out here.
Right.
That the black men specifically here in San Diego only want other races. Well, how much chocolate is pretty much as they
Right.
come. So, you know, if he gonna like me, he gonna like me. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not going bleaching and all that other stuff. And so only men that I've dated, it was black men, and they just really was like, wow. I mean, I've had it several times where sisters would come to me like, how you keep dating all these black men? And I'm
Right.
like, because I believe black men want to date me. Maybe you don't believe that, but I believe it.
Yeah.
And I do believe, and I'm bringing specifically up beliefs because your beliefs are what you are going to attract.
Attract,
right?
right, yeah,
So I
true.
believe the black men like me and want to be with me and marry me, etc. So that's who I attract.
Right. That leads into another question too, because one of the things about marriage is not you're not only marrying the person, you're marrying their family. too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that when there is difference of beliefs, religion, race, along those lines, even politics, there can be also a rift that's created. You know, in a situation like that.
Okay.
What would be your advice to the people getting married? Do they have to isolate themselves from their family, or will it be something where
We moving, y'all.
right? Somebody has to compromise.
Well, I am going to take it biblically here because we're supposed to cleave to our spouse, right? And so, yes, I'm marrying your family as well to a certain degree, but at night I'm in the bed with you. So
Right.
if I'm going to cut down all of this riffraff, then we need to be on one accord. And so that may mean who's ever in-laws have the problem, right? So if my if my people had a problem with my husband,
Right.
who happened to be white or whatever, right? Then I need to talk to my family. Like, hey, listen, it's not cool, whatever you need to say to
Right.
get them to back off. And if they don't understand that this is your partner, this is your choice, now you have to make a choice to protect your family. And
Family.
protect your peace.
Right.
And if that does mean detaching from your whomever it is that's giving you the riffraff, then you may need to detach from them because you chose this person, and that's where the protection comes in from both sides.
Right.
You can't just allow your mom or dad disrespect your spouse just because they're your mom or dad. Like, with love and respect as much as possible, but you can't be disrespectful. Like, you don't want me to disrespect your spouse.
Of course not.
So you want me to honor and respect your spouse, then
Right.
you got to give me the same respect.
But if they're not doing that, if that spouse is not protecting your union from their family,
yeah.
what does that other spouse do? Like, yo, you ain't sticking up for me.
For real, okay, there definitely is a conversation that needs to be had. And if you can't get it together, then maybe you as the person who's speaking to your spouse, are you okay with me speaking to them? Right? Like getting permission, if you will, to speak, because the in-laws will take it better coming from their people versus the outsider, the spouse, right? But sometimes people need to be put in their place. Like, because you're being very disrespectful. You want me to respect you. You coming over to my house or me in your house, whatever it is. There has to be a level of respect on both ends, not just one just because you're an elder or whatever. You're not acting respectful. So why should I give you my respect? Respect is not just given because you have an age over me or anything. It's given because I feel like you deserve to have it. Like literally, you don't just get it just because.
Right.
No. Mm-mm.
Right.
Well, we got 5 minutes left. Dang it. It's going so quick. Okay, so last question or last set of questions.
Oh, set. Okay.
Well, kind of topic of questions is for those who, again, you're 35, you're close to 35 as a woman, you're a 40-plus-year-old man, you guys mature, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now you're ready to get married.
Okay.
You're looking for your spouse. What should she be doing to show that she's available to find the right spouse? What should he be doing to show that he's available to find the right spouse?
My answer is probably going to be an untraditional one, which is continuously working on yourself to find out and hone in so you can articulate the things that you want. So you can, as I mentioned earlier, attract the things that you say that you want, right? So continuously working on yourself, getting coaching, counseling, therapy before you need it, because most people go to it when it's kind of late. So if you can actually cut that head off, right, cut the problem off before it even begins, that's better than having to go when you have a problem. So going to speak to somebody because there are going to be blind spots that you have no idea that's there. Because maybe you didn't ask the question to your exes or even your friends, right? There's things about each and every one of us that we just can't see. So we have to get outside information from a third party, someone that doesn't have any attachment to you emotionally, right? So they can just be forthright with you and not have to worry about hurting your feelings, right? But you still getting what you need from that person. So, okay, I'm weak in this area. Well, I need to tighten up on that. Because I'm a work in progress. I still will cut you off because I got some things to say. So, but I understand that in order to be a great listener, I got to be quiet and allow that person the space to just speak. So that's an area of weakness for me even today. Right. So sometimes you'll see me kind of do this, and I'm holding myself back because I understand you need to talk. It's not all about me, right?
So this is what you recommend for both parties?
I do. Yes, both parties to continue to work on themselves.
Okay, but where can they find this? Where can they find this person? Okay, while I'm working on me, where can I search? Do I go to the restaurants, stand by the bar? Do I go to church? Do I join associations?
Well, what I would like to say is this:
work.
You still throwing them out there. Let me let you.
Yeah,
No, right, exactly. No, I will say to continue to live your life, right? Continue to enjoy the hobbies that you like, but also by putting yourself out there, which means to put down your devices so you're not fully honed in on. So you are leaving yourself open for somebody to approach you, and this is men and women. Allowing the space for others to see that you're vulnerable, like even asking some of your friends, your buddies, right? Look out, or even your girlfriends, whatever. But to look out and say, do you know anybody? Do you know anybody? But qualify those people too. I mean, it's a lot more to it, and we only got a few seconds, so it's a lot more to it. But allowing yourself the space to be open to invite that person in. So continuously doing what you did for fun. So those are the places that you continue to go. The final thing is just make sure that they're co-ed.
Okay. So you go with other people.
No. The event itself has the opposite sex. So, yeah,
okay.
just make sure that the event is co-ed.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
That makes sense.
That's a must.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Just go ahead. If it's not a
If it's not right, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
None against LMNOP, but yes.
The alphabet. I know we're done. But so what could she show when she's there in front of that person? What can she show that she's interested, and what can he show that he's interested? What can they do to show that?
I would go back to the old school, which is giving him the eye, and again the opportunity to come over to you and say hello. Or I'm bold, so I would go over, especially if we are giving each other the eye. That's me. I wouldn't wait, but I know for my feminine ladies out there who would wait, it's
I would
okay.
never.
Give him the eye, and then allow him the opportunity to come over to you. And then for the men, not like if she's out with a group, not allowing the group to secretly intimidate you where you don't go over there and speak to her because there's too many over there for the fear of rejection, right? Because who want to be rejected in front of all of these women?
Right. Or they get jealous, say, "How can you pick me?" And
Most women don't do that.
they don't.
They don't do that in front of the man. They might do it when you gone.
Oh, okay.
But they're not going to sit there and be like, how come you didn't choose me? They
Well, I'm not good enough for you.
Oh, this is another story. I had another story anyway.
This is after the show.
So, Marshawn, so let us know. Well, let the people know where they can find you, because you're every counselor, black counselor that I run into, I tell them about you.
Absolutely.
Because I definitely think it's needed in our community. You're needed in our community. We talk about single families in our community, and the homes where we have, and even in the church today, you're finding that there's a lot of single parents in the church too. So I mean, it's something where we need. There is a 911 to save marriages in our community. So we need you. So let them know where they can find you in our community in San Diego.
Well, I'll say specifically this Thursday, I'm actually having a master class speaking about relationships, and
Okay.
it's transforming your relationship starts with you. I have to say that it is for the ladies, right? So, but it is for a way for you to come and figure out what you're doing right, as well as what you're doing wrong, and how you can turn those things around. Because most of us didn't grow up with these tools and strategies, and it took me 14, 17 years to really get a lot of this information. And so coming to a master class as well as working with me would literally cut your learning curve. And so why go through 14, 17 years of trying to figure it out when you have somebody that's already been there, done that? You come and get the information. So it's transforming your relationship starts with you. And you can go and register at the link bit.ly/ my transformation starts here, and each word has a capital letter. My transformation starts here.
We'll put it in the comment section after the show. Marshawn, it's always been a pleasure.
Thank you.
We know we have to have you come back again sometime in the future,
Yes.
especially when you have your next event going
Okay.
on. Have you come back and promote it, and maybe next time we can get make it more co-ed next
Okay,
time.
I'm with it.
So we can have an even deeper conversation. So thank you for doing our show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Clinton, happy
Wonderful.
birthday.
Yeah. 23 again.
23 again. We see you guys same time, same place next week. Until then, peace.
Peace.